So hi, good evening. Today in this video, we'll be learning how to create a form in HTML. That is like, obviously we know that HTML actually forms the skeleton for a website. So under that, form is one of the important components. So obviously today in this video, we'll be learning how to create a basic form with all the necessary attributes which you can use it in your website. That is like when you take any website, the most important components like text area and radio buttons and most important components alone, I have covered it in this video. And if you want me to teach more advanced topic in it, like how to add a CSS design to it or how to add some advanced methods in it, you can just put it in the comment section. I can create a video. So please watch the video and let me know your comments. So obviously to create a HTML form, let me first form the framework for that. Like we need the HTML tag. I have already created a file named forms.html where you can see this. So I have created a HTML tag, and inside this we need two important components, the head and the body. Head and the body. So inside the head, we need the title. I'll give it as forms itself. So let me try to create a student registration form, like so that most of the topics can be covered inside this easily. So let me create it like with a interesting topic. So I'm going to create a student registration form. So in the body section, let me start creating it. First, I'll be giving a catchy heading. Obviously, student registration. Student registration. Okay, I'm going to save it. I'm going to just execute it step by step so that you can just understand what is happening by the each HTML tag. So the heading is done clearly. So let's move with creating the form. First, I'm going to split my forms into different sections. That is like first section will get the basic details, and the next session will be getting the subject details, and third section like payments, like that. So first section will be basic details, right? So I'm going to give it as h2 tag basic details. So you could see over here, it has got a subheading basic details. Under this, let's create the first form. So obviously for forms, we'll be having form tag. Here in this form, now for time being, since we are creating only the front end for this, we don't need an action tag to be added here. When you just link it with database through a backend, obviously the action tag will play a major role. Now under the basic details, I wanted to get a what to say, what is the first name, what is the last name, like that. Whenever you take a form, I'll just give you a small idea regarding this. Let me just open my paint. Your form would look like this, right? Like it will have a name, and it will have a text box near it, right? This is how the forms will look like. In this, the one which you could see here as the text, this one, this is actually called label, because it is defining what is this given statement or what is this given input area gonna do. Now the place where we are going to provide the input, we call it as input itself. And this is what we're gonna add as a tag also, a label tag with input tag. So for getting the basic details, you can see that the label tag is first, followed by the input tag, right? That is what we're gonna give it in the query now. So inside the form tag, first I'm gonna create the label. So the label will be obviously first name. Inside this, you can see the attribute called for, right? Actually, for this label tag and for the input tag, two attributes are very, very important, the for and the ID. That is like from the label to the input, the connection is done from for attribute and ID attribute. So whatever I give in this label should be given as the ID in the input tag. So I will give it as f name. Now I'll create the input tag for that. So obviously I'm creating a text box. So input type will be text. Text represents the text box where we needed to actually add a ID along with that. ID will be like same F name, similar like what we gave in the form. Now, along with the input type and ID, we needed to add the name for the input. It actually acts like a variable name. Similarly, name also, I would suggest give you the same value so that you don't get confused. Okay, so let us see what has happened over here. Yeah, the form is created. I'll add a colon, it would make a good impression. All right, so our first form category is been done here. Now let's replicate it for the last name. Just copy this. I'm going to add just 2 labels just for the learning purpose, right? So this will be my last name. And for tag, I'll give it as L name. Similarly, it should be for the ID and name also, we can give it as L name. Okay, so our first stuff is done here. Basic details are done, but it is in the same line. So I'll give a break statement twice so that it will give a considerable space at the bottom. So you could see here, now it is perfectly done. Now we will move the next one. I'm going to ask the people regarding the subject preference. What are the subjects they needed to like enroll? So when you want to ask subject preference, checkbox would be the best option, because in a checkbox we can actually like give different options. That is like you can select more than one option. We can't do it in radio button. So my subject preference will be a checkbox. For that also I'll give a better title. Here in that H2 subject preference. Subject preference. You could see it over here. It will be reflected. Yeah, perfect. Now in that, I will be asking the people whether they want to select which subject out of that. I will be taking a Java, C++ and Python. So in subject preference, you can see that it will actually appear like this. I mean, a checkbox would appear like this. It will have a circle here, then it will have a text like this, like Python. And when we clear, no, it will have a rectangle, right? Sorry. It will have a square, it like this, and then it will have a text like that. One is the radio button, sorry. Yeah. It will appear like this, and when we click it, it give a check symbol. So you could see that this is your input, then this is your label. So you can understand that the input is coming first, then followed by the label. So obviously we need to give the input tag first. Let me add a input tag over here. Input type will be checkbox. Type will be checkbox, and it needs the ID, right? So ID, I'm going to give first Python. ID will be Python, and we need to give a name, right? So name will be, that is also Python. Okay, then we need to create a label for that. For should be the same name. So obviously ID and for will be same, Python. Then moving with the next one. We need to give the label name, right? Sorry, I forgot to give it. It will be Python. Now I'm going to replicate it for the 3 different categories. First, give a break statement in between. Break 2 times, so that it will give a considerable gap between that. So let me copy paste it again. So checkbox ID will be this time Java. This time Java. Here also Java. And the label inside will be a proper statement as Java. So here I'll give us Ruby. Name is also Ruby. And label is also Ruby. Inside it will be RUBI Ruby. Okay, label is done. Now let us see how it has been created. Yeah, checkbox is created in a considerable manner, right? Okay. Now let's move the next set of form. like I want to mention the mode of payment, whether it is cash or check or UPI. You can have all the three, right? So a radio button would be a better option, because in a radio button, you can click only one option at a time. So again, for that, I'll give a better heading. I don't think we needed to give a break statement at last here, because we'll be adding a H2 statement that will give you the better gap in between that by itself. So H2 will be like mode of payment. Mode of payment. So let me just check it over here. Yeah, mode of payment heading is done. Now we will add a radio button. Radio button also similar like the instead of the checkbox, it will be having a circle in it. So input will come first, label will come second. So I will just edit this and I'll put it inside. Why do I need to type it once again? So like after the H2 tab, you'll get the radio. First, I'll change the one as radio here. And ID will be what? Cash. Because I'll be getting cash, card or UPI. Label will also be cash. Name cash. And cash. So here also we'll be having radio. ID is card. Name is card. And label also card. And inside we'll have a label as card. Then here again radio. ID will be UPI. Name is also UPI. Label for should be similar like ID, right? So UPI. And inside that we'll give a better text as UPI. Okay, now it is done. See here. So here you can see here. So I can type my first name here, last name here. I can check boxes. I can uncheck it. Radio button when I click it. Can you see what is the error here? Yeah. The radio button can select only one thing at a time, but why it is selecting all the three like a checkbox? Even you can't uncheck it. So there is an error here. You could see here the name, right? In a radio button, if you give different names, it will take it like an individual component. Unless and until you have a common name, it will not treat the other values. Because if you give here different names, it will consider as different values. So when you check it again, that is like when you check one, it will be a different value. When you check this one, this is another value. So it is checking this also like that. So this is wrong. If it's a radio button, we need to have a common name. We'll have it as payment. Payment. Now you see here, I check the cash, then card, it gets interchanged. Why means now all are having the same variable name. So when I check card, it will be assigned to this value. When I check this one, since it is having duplicate name, it will take the latest selection alone. That is why we use the common name for the radio button. That is the only difference between checkbox and the radio button. Now I guess we have completed the radio button here. So next we needed to create a grade section here. So here we'll be using a different form options like drop down list. That could be a better one. That would be another different tag we could use here, because here the difference in a drop down list is like it will not use only input and label here. It will be using something called select statement. So let us try to create a drop down list here. So for that, I'll just give a title here, H2 as grade, and let me check whether the title has been selected over here. Yeah, grade is done. Now, first we need a initial label. So for will be like the same thing. We'll have it as class and we'll write it as choose your grade. Choose your grade. And we need to give the drop down list options like using select statement. So here name will be similarly like we'll have it as class itself. ID should be similar to form, so we should have it as class. And inside the select statement, we'll be giving the options tag for the different options available. Option and value will be 9th standard, so I'll keep it as 9, and the text will be 9th inside the drop down list. I'll just copy paste it for the other tags here. 10th standard and 11th standard and 12th standard. So it will be 9th, 10th, and the value will be 10. And here the value will be 11. And the value will be here like 12th standard. So let me check whether it's working out. Yes, you could see the grade over here, 9th standard. If you want 10th standard, you can click it and change it over here. And I would like to show you an attribute. Assume that the drop-down list is very bigger. So under the case, you can just adjust it by giving an attribute over here in the label tag. Sorry, select tag as size. I give the size as 2 so that I can see only 2 options when you click it out. Like see here. Now you can see only 2 options are being shown here. So this would be a better one. Okay, I didn't give the text, change the text here, 11th. Now I guess I can see what is the weird thing over here. Yeah, now perfect. Yeah, so you can see that only 2 options are seen over here. So which can be controlled using a size attribute, but I don't need that. So I'll be removing this because it makes my form look improper. So I have set a 10 standard. Okay, now we have created the drop-down list also. And one more thing is also one of the famous form options available, text area, where you will give the query inside it. So let's create all that also. That is like your questions. They will ask in the last page of the contact, right? So let us add that. So that will be added using obviously a tag called text area. So here you can see 4 attributes: name, ID, column, column, row, and yeah, that's it. So name, I will give it as message. ID also I'll give it as message. And columns, rows, yeah, that is fine. This is actually a perfect dimension. So that is not a problem over here. So let's check whether it's done. Okay. Oh, it came over here, right? So I'll just add a break statement below. Okay. Now we need to add a heading. Your questions would be my heading. Your questions. Okay. So now I guess, yeah, it's perfect here. Mostly inside the text box, you could see a guiding question like a writer message here like that. So similarly, we can also give a message by writing it in between the text area tag. Write your questions here. Questions here. All right. Let us check it out. Yeah, now you could see that the text area has been created successfully. So what else is remaining? We needed to submit this form, right? So we need a button to submit. So even that is the input tag. Button is also considered as input tag, so we can give it as input. Oh, I gave it as in out. Type is obviously, since it's a button, it's a submit attribute. Submit tag. Type is submit. But it will come in the very next to the text area. So I'll give a break statement here. Yeah, now I guess the submit button has been created. Yeah, you could see the submit button here. Let us see what is happening. So I give the name as Ravi, last name is Prasath. I just click by Python and Java. I use UPI to pay the payment, and my grade is 12. And my question is nothing. If I submit it, obviously nothing will happen because we didn't connect any backend to this, or we didn't connect any database to that. Mostly people will actually connect this to a database via backend. Mostly they use Java, Python, and Ruby, and even PHP. PHP is most commonly used nowadays. So when you connect it to the database via backend, whatever you type in the form will go there. But now currently you can see that the entered data has been stored in the database and it has navigated you to the another page actually. Because that's the reason why you can see a back button here, because you refresh it, it's a new page. And when you go back, you go to the previous page. It has directed you to another HTML page and the data is stored via URL. But you can connect it to the back database via backend. Here, maybe I can just suggest you, or I can just show you one small JavaScript code here. That is like when I click the submit button, how can I understand that I have clicked it and the form has been submitted? I need a confirmation message, right? So that alone I'll give it here. Input type is equal to submit. On click is equal to, like I'll give a alert message inside that. Alert, like form is submitted. Form is submitted. Form is submitted. And I forgot to give a value, but value should be given obviously. So value will be like value is equal to, we'll give it a submit itself. That will be better. Okay. Okay, I forgot to close the double quotes over here. Yeah, now perfect. So let's see. I'm not going to enter anything here. I'm just going to show you how it is working. See here, form is submitted. You can see the confirmation message over here. So these are the basic things you needed to learn while you kickstart a form in HTML. And if you want to do the designs, obviously you can do it either in the HTML itself, or if you want to make it more advanced, you can use CSS styling also along with it. Just here in this video, I have just taught you the basics which could help you to kickstart. If you want me to teach you more, you can just let me know in the comment section. I can move forward with the CSS for this given form. And maybe one small styling that is like which can help you to split your components here. I can teach you that alone, like adding the legends by splitting in different fields. I'll show you how to split the fields so that it can look a bit better. Maybe I'll show you for the basic details area alone. Like I'm just going to comment this one. You can comment it using Control+/. I have commented this one, and inside that, I'm going to create a tag called field set. Field set, and I'm going to paste this entire label inside it. First name and last name fully. And I'm going to add a legend for that. That will be my basic details. But still, I will wanted to do it in a bold tag. Basic details. So now let us check how it is. Okay. Oh, I forgot to delete that. This one. I'll add 2 break statements here. Okay, I forgot to delete one more thing here. I don't think break statement is required because we have a h2 tag over here. So now let us refresh and check. Perfect. Now I guess you could see that the given field set area alone has been made much better, right? So this is how you can use different options to customize your form. I have just given you the basic framework alone. Hope this video has helped you a lot. If you want me to teach more inside this given topic, because we have just started our first video in HTML, we'll learn a lot more in the future videos. Thank you so much. Have a great day.